everybody. Welcome to Stick It to the Manga, a show for anime fans. It's just going to be me and Kevin today. We're going to be discussing Dr. Stone. It's going to be awesome. The purpose of this podcast is for us to find new manga and just talk about it, see if we like it, try all kinds of different manga. You guys can interest us some. We'll discuss them amongst each other. We'll introduce each other to new ones. It's going to be awesome experience. Let's get into this. All right, Kevin, take it away.
Well, okay. So the summary of Dr. Stone is we have these group of kids who are in high school, just living their youth, and one day a green flashlight comes by and turns everybody into stone. Later on, they wake up. I don't know. Is there any more in this talk about, Jake?
The summary of Dr. Stone is they're at school.
Yep.
They're just having a regular old day.
Yep.
Green flashing light comes by.
Yep.
Fast forward 3,689 years and 158 days. And our main character is Senku. He's our protag. He's the leading force of the manga.
He's accompanied by his not so bright, strong friend who helps him with the labor work. Yeah. Who is confessing to his other friend.
Yes. We're no longer in spoiler free. This is full on spoilers. We're talking about the manga. If you don't want to get spoiled, don't listen to the rest of this. Alright, so Kevin, did you like the first two volumes of Dr. Stone?
They were quite interesting, actually. I really loved the different sections, like, for instance, Mecha Senku and the how-to guides, like how they explained a little bit how to make gunpowder.
Yeah.
Those were definitely interesting segments.
I'm pretty sure that chapter would actually technically be, like, illegal in the United States.
Technically, yeah, I think there's problems facing around the law on that.
There might be. I really like the start of Dr. Stone. I feel like it definitely gives, like, a really strong framework for the rest of the series. It shows that Senku is super, super smart. Like, he's a genius. And it puts him in a frame where, like, I think a lot of time, like, genius characters get lumped into that I don't care about people, it's all about results. Which Senku wants people to think he's like that. But it shows throughout the manga that he cares about his two best friends.
Yuzuriya and
Yuzuhira and
Taiju.
Yeah. As much as he, like, mocks their intelligence, he needs them, he feels.
And I really loved how at the start of the chapters, Taiju and Yuzuriya went to the animal hospital at the same time in order to figure out what they could do for these petrified birds, which people thought were just statues. It showed that they had a connection with each other, and the way they thought was on the same wavelength.
Yeah, and it definitely showed them as two very compassionate characters.
Yeah.
Everyone else would have just left those birds there, and they're like, oh, these look real, we'll take them to the hospital, even though, like, everybody else was like, you're an idiot, they're stone.
Yeah, and later on in chapters, I think when they revive Hysteria at the start, in like chapter 8 or something like that, don't quote me, it also showed them as, like, nervous high schoolers, how, like, what their part in the manga was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character?
Well, my favorite character gets introduced in chapter 16. There's not really much information on her at this point in time, so there's not really much I can explain except she seems like a warrior person.
Oh yeah, Kohaku.
Yeah, Kohaku.
Yeah, Kohaku's so cool. Like, she doesn't get much in this chapter.
No, not at all. In later chapters, she does quite a lot.
My favorite character so far is definitely Senku. I think it could just be that he's the protagonist and that's why I like him so much, but I really like the way he's written. He has this weird kind of like dry comedy about him. Like, he takes things so seriously, but not seriously at all.
I wouldn't say the comedy he does is dry. It's you have to watch a lot of science and stuff to get what he's doing. Like it's more educational than it is comedy.
Yeah. What was your favorite panel or your favorite part of this set of chapters?
Definitely the chapter where they're about to revive Yuzuria, and they're like, yeah, we need to put clothes on her because if we don't, it's going to do this. And Senku's just like, dude, why do you care? It's the Stone Age. Everybody's going to be naked.
And Taiju's just like, you don't get it.
Yes. It brought down a little bit of like comedy of like our ignorance and our thoughts from today versus what would happen in the Stone Age, aka the future.
Yeah.
Like the train of thought was just completely different.
My favorite chapter has got to be Senku's revival. Like,
that one was great.
When he first depetrifies.
When he first depetrifies, not when they brought him back.
No, when he first depetrifies, like, just the part with, like, the monkeys just being like, this shiny monkey's an idiot.
Yes, and then boom, fire, and the monkeys are like, ah!
Oh god! But my favorite, like, single panel, like, single piece of illustration was from the scene where Senku died.
Oh. Where they showed his snapped neck?
No. It's... The scene is when Taiju runs up from the woods to find that, Subaka?
No, to get some firewood.
Yeah.
Okay, I know which panel you're talking about now.
Yeah. Right when, Taiju sees that, there's like this panel where it's just like really rough brushstrokes that make up his profile, and there's like splattered ink. And I just love that imagery.
Yeah, pretty dark imagery. Would you recommend this to your friends, Jacob?
Oh, definitely. I would definitely recommend this to people. It's funny, it's mystical, it's educational, and it's just kind of like this weird adventure.
Yeah, and I definitely would recommend it too, because on top of all the points you just said, it's something a little bit different. Like, we haven't had it's a mixture between a high school death game and a type of the death game survivals mixed with regular high school drama life. And I'm not talking like Future Diaries. This is something new to the genre, like Future Diaries, but it's more like man versus nature as well as man versus self.
Mm-hmm.
And with the character Tsukasa and everything, it makes an interesting mix of, okay, who's going to win this battle against nature and man? So, my short answer, yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I feel that it's just a completely new genre of survival games.
Oh yeah. I I love the clash between the two characters, the protagonist and the antagonist, is I want to save everyone, and the only the strong should survive.
Well, it's not just only the strong to survive. Like if you look into his psyche, it's more the strong, youthful who have not corrupted the earth should survive.
Yeah, that's the way he puts it, but like, this is coming from somebody that's like watched the anime. It starts out as like just he says that it's like the youthful are the people that need to live on, but it kind of ends up being like the useful are the people that should survive. Like,
Yeah.
if Senku wasn't wanting to revive everyone, Senku would have been like the perfect asset for him.
Yeah. And what would have made it really interesting is not having Tsukasa and Senku get down, like, separate so early on. Like, it would have been interesting if we went, like, a little bit of a Death Note type.
Yeah, like that clash of like the minds in Death Note with L and Light.
Yeah. And literally taking the perspective of okay, so because Tsukasa is almost on Senku's level of smart. Almost.
Yeah, almost. Like, I think if he had a different like upbringing, he would have been where Senku is.
Yeah.
Like, I think his intelligence is less like where Senku is full on book and practical science knowledge. But Tsukasa is strategy and kind of deduction, I guess, was the way to put it.
Yeah.
Like, he was able to figure out like what Senku was up to really easily.
With the whole gunpowder.
With the gunpowder and like him running away. He's like, why would Senku run away? Why would he wouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I was saying by like the whole Death Note mind games would have been really interesting at the start and then have a falling away. Like, they just introduced, I feel, Tsukasa's schemes a little bit too early.
I think so too. I feel like there should have been just like maybe even just like 3 more chapters of like lead up to that decision to split.
Yeah.
Like building up his kind of menacingness like a little bit at a time. First,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, oh, he's really strong. He just kind of has like a menacing aura. Like, I was gonna say Dio, but Dio just full on just kicks a dog as soon as he gets introduced, so that doesn't work. But like,
I haven't really watched JoJo's, so that reference just went right over my head. I'm so sorry.
oh my god, I think the next one we should do is JoJo's then, dude. Is there anything else in this set of chapters that you want to talk about?
I think we pretty much covered it, except we didn't go over the pulley part when Senku decides to save Kohaku from under the tree, and also the shyness of like the whole hot springs part in the volcano, like how childish and funny it was to see them acting like that.
Yeah. I loved the part where they're like, hot springs, and Taiju instantly was like, separated baths, and made signs and everything.
Yep. There's sign, like, there was automatically a wall. Where did they get the wall? I guess they trumped it. Let's build a wall.
It honestly, greatest wall, the best wall that anyone has ever seen.
Best wall. It made you think, yeah, like if I were in that situation, I would be too. So it really put some thought and energy into how people would feel if they were in that situation too.
There's little details in this manga, like little tiny events that just like really show how characters are. Like Taiju is
Sweet and innocent. He
sweet
he
and
hasn't
innocent,
even
yeah.
lifted. He didn't even lift a finger during middle school as he got pummeled. Like he would protect Senku's experiment, and then he would get his butt kicked by other high like middle schoolers, and didn't even swing a punch.
Yeah,
That's dedication.
he's he's so like he's so strong-willed, or maybe it's not that he's strong-willed. It's just maybe he's just stubborn. But he's like, I don't fight. I will take punches, but I will not fight. He's
That's
very
really interesting.
yeah. It's
Like you would think that like when Senku was killed, that instead of sparing Tsukasa, they would have directly got as close with the gunpowder as possible and blew him up instead of escaping.
yeah.
But with that being said, they still, it would have ended the story too soon.
Mm-hmm.
But with also that being said, it would give them chance to focus on more survival, building up civilization like in the later chapters without the worry of Tsukasa.
I think if the role was switched, like if Taiju was the one that got murdered, I think Senku would have just been like, "Yep, you're blown up, Tsukasa. Bye bye." I think
Yes.
Senku would have gone through with it. I think he would have been like, "You are a risk to everyone."
Yes, but at the same time, Senku is not a killer either.
It's true.
But like his passion is more in creating things.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't really like to destroy things unless it creates other things that are useful. So, what else did you find interesting about the manga?
I love how like reading. I watched the anime first. Obviously, we both did.
Yeah.
And like reading the manga, I was like, oh my god, this is exactly like the anime. Like I'm following this exactly. Like there was a point where I could just kind of skim read it because I was like, I know what's happening in this scene, and it followed the anime followed the manga so well that like it's like scene for scene they followed it.
Almost scene for scene.
Almost.
Because there's little details they sprinkle in there that is not in the anime. And
Yeah.
with the anime, everything's moving so fast that you're trying to keep up with it. And with the manga, you know it's there because it's drawn there. You can't unsee it.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember if this was included in the anime, but in the manga, there's a part where Taiju is making something out of pottery, and then he puts in the kiln, and then it just comes out as a giant piece of crap. And it has, like, Yuzahira's name on it.
I don't remember that scene. Can you send me the panels to that scene? Because I must have missed that part.
It's a bonus scene.
Oh, it's a bonus scene.
It's, you know how in, like, mangas, the creators will sometimes add, like, an extra thing at the back of the volume? Just, like, as a, like, hey, here's this little goof.
Yeah, that scene is pretty funny.
So, we've already picked next week's manga, Darwin's Game. Alright, you guys can follow me at CookiesPonu on Instagram, Twitter, Everything.
Just everything.
It's Cookies Pony with a U.
Cookies Pony with a U. Is that capital C and
Capital C,
C
capital P,
cookie?
capital U.
Okay. Thanks for listening to our show. Like, I mean, we did it. First one done.
First one on. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Bye bye, manga fans. Have a good night.
Bye.